So we talked about confidence, men's confidence. We did a whole episode on men need to step up their confidence. We talked about what women are looking for in a man, ambition, wealth, looks, status, all that. Confidence is at the top of pretty much every girl's list, okay? So there's no secret that also if you look at all the numbers on these dating apps, or even in real life, the top 20% of men are getting 80% of the women. Like the rich are getting richer, K-shaped economy, whereas you have the bottom third of men, under 30, have had zero sex in the last year. No game, no chicks. So a lot of men are struggling. Not you, brother. You've loudly, proudly said that you've slept up with over 1,500 women. 1509, I think, to be exact.
1590.
1590, 1591. We're coming for you, girl. I know. So is it confidence? What's been your secret to success? And what do men need to know about, all right, I've gotten laid 0 times this year. I got to get to 1.
Well, so
you're trying to get to 1591, but there's an underlying factor.
You said that, you were in sales, or you still are in sales, right? And so I look at this as kind of like a funnel. And I have 2 sisters, right? I'm not trying to objectify women and describe it this way. I tell guys to be authentic and get to know them on their own. I don't tell them to put up any alter person or anything like that. But I look at it like a process where you have at the top, you have basically like your Tinder, Bumble, Hinge, bars and clubs, and then meeting girls in the daytime, right? So cold approach and online. Then that leads to phone numbers, and then it comes down to your texting skill and how many of those phone numbers turn into dates. And then that comes into how well, like I have certain sequences I send the night before and the day of to confirm the date, just because people forget, just to maximize the show-up rate, minimize flake rate, et cetera. Same way you would remind a prospect for a sales call.
This is literally sales 101.
And then from there...
By the way, if you need a job, my company's hiring. You just take what you're doing with checks, you bring them to financial consultant, done.
I tried door-to-door sales. I tried door-to-door sales for 1 summer just to see how it would relate to game, because my friends were saying there's a lot of parallels.
Same stuff.
And I worked for the Vivint Smart Home Company for 1 summer, broke the record as like the top rookie out of like 2,000 people. And I'd never been trained in sales. And the day that I broke the record, I took like 2 hours off to go hang out with a chick too. So, but it's just building
Boom,
rapport.
take that sales team. And I'm begging chicks in the middle of the
day.
But basically so it's your texting skill, and then it's how well you run the date. When I talk about running the date, a lot of guys the biggest mistakes they're making, they're running out of stuff to say. They're talking about stuff that's too boring. They're not setting it up for the girl to come back home with them. Right, they just let the date go on forever, and the girl eventually excuses herself, or they don't know how to answer objections for her to come home. Right, like to resolve any kind of like safety concerns, or they come in various forms. But a lot of guys think if a girl says like, "Oh, I'm not sure if I should come back with you," that means like never. She's totally not interested. Or if they tell them that at the bar or club, they have identified like 14 major reasons that they won't come home from a bar or club. So usually they don't want to leave their friends. They got to be up early, or there's a whole certain number of ones. But most guys think when they hear that means the girl's not interested. That's not the case. It's just she needs to feel comfortable and safe and all that stuff. And just like she said, girls are very good at reading people, right? They're they have like 10 times more white matter than a male, which is responsible for verbal and social connections. So they can read, even an 18-year-old girl has way better social acuity than me, even though I've been meeting thousands of people, just based on how her brain's wired. So they're a pretty good judge of whether or not that guy is, who he's representing himself to be.
Let me ask the ladies, the script that he's saying, by the way, it works great in sales, but you can tell, like, if a rookie salesman is like, "Hi, John, I am here to sell you a product."
They call that congruence.
Okay. So when as women, I know, Rebecca, you've been out of the game, but you used to be a hot stuff. Can you tell when a guy is using a script like, "Hey, would you like to come back to my place?" versus like, "How you doing, girl?" You can tell what's more natural. Can you read if it's like a script, fake, not vibe? Yeah. What's your experience with that? On the apps?
Yeah, on the apps, it's like, they're sending out the same thing to at least...
Copy paste?
Yeah.
Oh, like what they're saying. How's your day?
DMs. But once I get to text, I don't find...
I'm saying in real life.
Oh. My husband picked me up. It was all game.
Ooh, go ahead, James.
James came with the smoke, and I was...
What did James do?
He was just... I don't even know. He just swept me off of my feet. He was attentive. He was just listening to what I had to say. He was more interested in what I was saying. I know that he didn't remember anything that I said that day, okay? I know. But he wanted to get it.
But he was spitting game though.
Yeah, my husband has Harlem game.
What's that all about?
He's from New York.
Okay.
So
hey, yo, ma, how you doing?
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, he has that
You fell for that Harlem
swag.
Globetrotter game. Got you.
Yeah.
You know, I was
walks
wondering
in.
what is more of a red flag, and I'm curious to what you tell guys, because I was thinking about it the other day. I was like, is it more of a red flag that a guy only talks about himself or doesn't say anything about himself? Because I found a few times where, like, by the end of the date, he slips out, oh, yeah, I'm married. And I'm like, yeah, and I'm like, no wonder you weren't talking about yourself.
By the way, that's a bit. You should work on that. That's
Thanks.
a great bit. I think it's a worse red flag. This is me, advice to men out there. If you don't ask women questions and just talk about yourself.
Yeah.
I
For
think that's
sure.
like the worst, dumbest thing. If you're like, hi, so this is what I do for work and this is what I do for fun.
And
Like,
they
I hear
all do
women
it.
complain about this all the time. It's like, it's just this idiot that I would totally hook up with if he would just shut the fuck
fuck
up
up.
and ask me a question. But no, he wants to tell me about his
His whole life
company
story
and
and his goals.
what seed
Growth.
round he's in and my goals. It's like, homie, I don't know what you're saying. Pay for the date. I gotta go. That's
you know
my
where
advice to you guys out
That's
there.
literally
that's
Am I right?
New York right there.
Okay.
Yes.
Where that's coming from is they're trying to like win her over. I tell
Yes.
guys to come in assuming it's already like a done deal, assuming you've already been dating this girl. That allows them to be comfortable and
That's
just
a
like
good tip.
interact authentically, right? Because most guys come on, they're like, how do I be the impressive guy? How do I be the funny guy? How do I be the clever guy? They're like, how am I doing
the
so
funny
far?
guy.
Yeah.
I've made it 5 minutes. Let me try to make it 10 minutes. You know, how am I doing? How like they're looking at like a point
It's
system.
almost like you want to be a guy, you kind of want to sit back at your date and you want to be like, look, I've made it. Life's good. I'm successful. Here we go. Tell me about yourself. Tell me why I should spend my time with you. I'm dating 10 other different girls, or in John's case, 15 fucking thousand of them. But help me help you. Show me the money.
I think my husband
I feel like
actually
that
said
type of
too.
confidence,
Like an
even if
interview?
you're a broke boy, will go a long way. I'm here. I'm good. I could be anywhere in the world, but I'm here with you right now. Talk to me. Tell me about yourself. What are your goals? What are your life? What are your ambitions? Sell me on why I should hook up with you. You take that approach with women are going to respond to that.
I think
I'm
that's
letting
how
you
my
know.
husband.
Bang. That's that Harlem game right there. James, laying it down.
Yeah, maybe
I don't know.
He should be.
It is nice when they ask. I don't like talking about myself for too long, and I'm genuinely interested in about them too, because I know about myself, and we're on a date, so I know we're vetting each other, kind of.
Yeah.
So if I go on for too long, I catch myself, and then I'm like, okay, so same question back at you.
But that's fine. I'd rather a girl tell me, all right, cool, I've just been talking way too much.
Yeah.
I want to get to know you more. Versus like, okay, is this guy gonna shut up? And then he feels the need. What's wrong? Is there so? Did I not say anything? And like now there's that whole like awkward.
can I tell
and
you
the girl's
one
like
thing?
nothing. If a girl says nothing's wrong, believe me, something's wrong.
Or I'm
Wait,
fine.
this is the best
I'm
line.
fine. Nothing's wrong. Yeah,
I
there's
went on
something.
I went on a date with a guy, and for 45 minutes, I watched on my watch. He
Yeah.
did not stop talking. 45 minutes, and then he went, "Enough about me. What about you? What do you think about me?"
Oh Jesus.
He
You've been on some
literally
dates,
said,
Amber.
What do you
Guys.
think about me?
What do you think about that?
Oh, I think that's stupid. I tell guys because everybody's trying to like show off.
Yeah.
And it has the reverse effect. If a guy's like, hey, I have this, I have this, I have this, the girl's like, okay, you're placing me up here, you're trying to do all this stuff to win me over.
Yeah.
Versus a guy that just comes on, the confidence comes from being assured that they're gonna like you no matter what. So that gives you permission to be yourself. So it's actually a positive message. It's not a manipulative message. But most guys are doing it wrong because they're coming in trying to use lines and trying to get something,
Yes.
and they're trying to, make the girl like them and win her over.
But this concept of using lines, spitting game, it's no secret they say that, men fall in love with their eyes. Women are beauty objects. Whereas women fall in love with their ears. Sell me a dream. What are you up to? What do you got going on? So for a man, the words that you say carry a lot of weight.
Yeah.
Whereas a woman, how you look carries a lot of weight. But it's what we're encouraging men, don't talk, ask. How you doing? What do you think about this? What do you think about that? What's your experience with like the things you should or you shouldn't say? Because it's time for you to talk. It's time for you to ask. How can you make a woman fall in love with her ears?
So I tell them, like, I remember back when I read one of the first pickup artist books, right? Like, I don't know if you guys heard of Mystery, the guy that wears like the
Yeah.
top hats and all that stuff.
You used to have the show on VH1
Yeah.
and all that. Yeah.
So like he says that exact same thing. He says this is rooted in evolutionary biology. And he says that men are primarily attracted to a woman's physical attractiveness, whereas women are attracted to survival and replication value. So they're looking at, is this guy a leader of men, protector of loved ones? Does he get other hot girls? Does he, own who he is? Does he have an adventurous life? This kind of stuff. So I tell guys to showcase what they have going on in their life without bragging about it. That can set them apart from other guys, right? But also to stack multiple conversational topics so they don't run out of things to say. That comes from Mystery as well. So you're just like stacking all these different topics, and you can bounce between topics, and new topics come up all the time, and that's how you never run out of things to say. Because most guys, they'll beat one conversational topic or thread into the ground, and then they're like, so, and then there's like silences, and that can just really kill the vibe and make things weird for
You know how
both
they
people.
say, don't brag, let others do it for you, right? By the way, this
You
reminds me of
endlessly quote. It's
What's
impressive.
that?
You endlessly quote.
This is what we do.
He gets it.
So don't brag, let others do it for you. Deli, by the way, you're working right now. Pull up a picture of Don Rickles, Frank Sinatra. Just pull this up. You familiar with this story?
No.
Put it on the screen, take it off real quick when we tell the story. So don't brag, let others do it for you. So arguably the most famous, best musician the world has ever seen is Frank Sinatra. Arguably, okay? So he ran with the Rat Pack crew, right? Dean Martin, Don Rickles, his crew, Sammy Davis Jr., Peter Lawford, and Don Rickles comes up to Frank Sinatra, Old Blue Eyes, and he goes, "Hey Frank, I'm on a date tonight, and do me a favor. In the middle of dinner, come up to me and tell me, hey Don, great to see you. You're the best. Make me look good. You're freaking Frank Sinatra." He goes, "Don, I don't really want to do this. Frank, please, come on. I'm trying to impress the girl." "All right, Don, you got it." Okay, so they're halfway through dinner, and Frank Sinatra, as he said he would, comes up to, "Hey, Don, great to see you." Don Rickles goes, "Frank, don't you see I'm having dinner here? You're fucking bothering me. Get out of here." Frank goes, "Oh, my God." That's Don Rickles comedy. But don't brag, let others do it for you. It's like one of those things where it's sort of an analogy there. I don't know what that was right there, but rather than him being like, "Hey, I know Frank Sinatra. I don't know if you." That's a kind of a big deal, right? I'm cool, right? He kind of employed his jokey mechanisms to.
It's like a subtle edification.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Edification.
And also not, I wouldn't say like taking girls on dates where people know you, but for instance, my husband was a part of this this organization, and he invited me to come to like a basketball fundraiser thing, and he was the person that was speaking at this event, and I was like, this mother effer.
Yeah.
But
Harlem game.
But yeah, it was that Harlem game, and he presented, and I was like,
Yeah, that's
that's my boy.
Yeah.
So what could he have done differently that would have made you feel like he's trying too hard?
Be like, "Oh, I'm going to speak at this thing. I think it would be cool if you come." So I don't know. The way he did it was just so subtle. He's like, "Hey, you want to come to this fundraiser? I think it'll be fun. There's going to be games and stuff there. We can play basketball." It was.
I love this story about James Harlem. Word to the men out there. Let's say you're speaking at this event. You're the man. You're the keynote speaker. You're giving a speech. You're the guy. Rather than telling the girl, "Hey, by the way, I'm kind of a big deal. I'm speaking at this event. I'd be honored if you came."
Show.
Just be like, "Hey, there's this little event. No big deal. If you come, I'll get you a ticket. Just leave it at the box office. All good, whatever. She shows up, and it's like the James show.
Yeah.
He's speaking. All of a sudden, she's like, "Wow, wow, wee, wow, wow."
Yeah.
Boom,
and
Harlem
then the
game.
and then the jaw hits the ground, and you're like, "All right." And then it's like, "Hey, I want to say hi to Rebecca. She's out here." I'm like, "Wait, I get a shout out too."
Wow, you got a shout out during the speech?
Yeah, and I
subtlety.
was
Yes.
Subtlety.
Yes.
There's nothing
Yes.
sexier than seeing a man do what he does
in
best.
his purpose.
Really?
Exactly.
Yeah, in his element.
Oh, yeah.
I love seeing guys do their thing.
Yeah.
I love
Yes.
seeing John do his thing. He's there 1,400, 1,500 of doing his thing. I wish I could. There's
I
video
guess a lot of
proof
girls
that.
see you do your thing also.
But I want to go back to your original point
Yeah.
though, about so you said, how does a guy go from getting no results to getting more results?
Yes.
So after the date, right? There's a process back at the house. After that, how do you keep the girl instead of it being like a cheap one night stand, right? And I basically find where their bottlenecks are. So some guys suck at texting, right? So even if they get a bunch of phone numbers, it never turns into dates. Some guys suck at dates. So even though they can set up dates, they never go anywhere. Or some guys, they can get the hookup, but they don't know how to keep the girl around, and so they can't keep
They're
girls.
bad at sex. Do you help them with
Yeah,
that too?
no, I do have a whole training on that. We actually, one of the virgins that I trained, he had been trying for 10 years with other coaches. There's a guy from England, and from age 18 to 28, was still a virgin. He's like, after this, I'm giving up. I'm gonna go MGTOW, never care about girls again.
Oh my God.
I'm like, I promise we'll do it on the first week. He's like, can you guarantee it? I'm like, no, but very high chance. And I walked through how we would do it, and he lost virginity on day 4. And then he ended up sleeping with 8 girls across 8 weeks. And on week 5, he went out with a girl that was like really hot, right? The first really, really, really hot girl he's ever been out with. And he massively fucked it up. And I was like, you're not ready for that yet. Like, you didn't even know what a vagina felt like 5 weeks ago, right? But the reason why I thought of that story is I had like a half-hour video about how to hit the G-spot and all the major positions. And he did that. And the girl said like, wow, I didn't know people could be that good in bed. And that was his first time ever having sex. So that's a skill that you can learn as well, right? He's in the top 1% now of sex, just following the directions of how to do it. Most guys don't know, right? What are they doing? They're watching porn and they're getting it.
It's
from porn.
funny how like the women were objecting to the sales hacky approach, but the pleasuring the woman, they're all like, all right, bravo, motherfucker. Like,
Well,
okay,
yeah,
all
because
right.
if at the end of all of that, you get the girl, you know, jackhammer her, you get off, and then you leave, I would not be happy with that. But if you're actually, because what you just said, which I didn't think before, a cheap one-night stand, you actually want to have sex with them again. That's great. I'm all for that.
I want to see like any girl I had good chemistry with. I want to see them as much as possible. You know.
Again.
Yeah, I don't just like, okay, I got a number now, they're gone. It's not.
Right.
It's
So
not
keep
like that.
And you have to teach them how to do stuff if they want to, if the girls want to
but
be with them again.
that's how it is. So it's not necessarily a complicated process, but most people have compounding bottlenecks. So like, they don't even know how to have an interaction, and their pictures suck online, and it's a non-starter. And then if they get a number here or there, their texting sucks and it dies there. If they get a date out, they could screw that up. So there's areas for it to fail all the way through. And I help them make the process smooth so they can get regular dates. So by week 2 or 3 of my training, they now have their schedule packed full of dates. And then they're like, you know, what should I do? I don't tell them what their goal should be. So if you want a girlfriend, get a girlfriend. If you want to date around and see girls like on a rotation, do that. But usually what ends up happening with most clients is guys that had no options or very limited options get a bunch more and better quality options, and then they find one they really connect with and make that a girlfriend.
Quick thought, then we're going to go to Super Chats.
Yes.
Do you, ladies, gentlemen out there, do you see what men have to go through
Yes.
just to get a chick in their life?
No, it's crazy.
Okay, so guys are going and signing up for classes. They're reading books. They're taking on mentors. They're virgins. They're trying to get from 0 to hero just to get your attention and maybe get laid.
We like
I don't know
hardworking men.
any women who are like, yep, I'm going to a pickup artist class this weekend. And Leslie over here, she bangs a ton of dudes. So she's helping us up. She's going to get my money right. She's getting my fitness right. She's getting my game right.
this is funny
And
too.
after all this, dudes are going to be hollering. No, women don't have to deal
That is
with
true.
what men have to deal with.
Yeah.
So you might look down at some of this stuff, but what would you rather have? This 40-year-old virgin Steve Carell character that's like, I got no money, got no ass in my life, and life sucks, or this dude right now that all of a sudden is pleasing 8 women a week? Bang. So I'm just saying, appreciate that these guys want women like you in their life. Respect to you dudes out there. That's it. With that being said, how you doing?
I'm doing good.
You doing all right?
I'm doing great.
This is that Harlem game we talk about. So if you like that clip, click right here to watch another, or if you want to watch the entire Soscast, click right here.